Ayahuasca has been really training this courage in me. I guess it's courage, you want to call it faith or trust. It's been quite a journey, and I'd say it was really worth it. And I'm not saying that everyone should do ayahuasca. No, I'm not saying that. But I am saying and just sharing how it has helped me. And that's probably one of the greatest ways it's helped me, aside from unlocking more of my soul. But I would have to say that's actually tied to us being able to hear the voice of our soul. See how sketchy this spot is today. Reload. It's a lot noisier than I thought today. All right, this brings me to my last lesson in this series of what I learned from ayahuasca. And this has been quite a wild journey. So the last thing in this series that I've learned from my time with ayahuasca is just a little bit more on how to surrender, how to let go. And I don't say this lightly, just a little. Because there's always levels to this you inverse, always showing me more and more of my attachments, more and more things that I may be addicted to, just these over attachments, stories that I'm having trouble letting go, stories of scarcity. And as the U inverse orchestrates people and circumstances in my life to show me that I am still attached to this story of the past, this story, and maybe it's even within my DNA, maybe it's even so deep that it's ancestral, that it's one of my ancestors, or maybe it's a past life that is still running this story in my DNA, or the pain of trauma that is so deeply embedded in my nervous system that my nervous system has not yet been able to rewrite that story for a certain part of me. But I will say I am getting better and better at letting go. As I look back in my life and I look back at how difficult it was for me to let go of certain things, let go of comments people made or things that had happened to me, when really the more I grow and the more I just evolve, I'm seeing how things have been happening for me. I'm not saying that I can always see it in the moment, but I am saying as I look back into the past, I'm seeing how certain things, a lot of things, in fact, most all, obviously not every single thing, but how a lot of it has been happening for me. And I'm noticing that it's getting a little bit easier to let go, to surrender. But the fact that I've always had to surrender to the medicine, everyone who's doing the medicine is surrendering to the medicine. We don't know what we're gonna encounter. We don't know what kind of parts of our shadow we're gonna encounter. what kind of dark entities we're going to encounter, which is all going to be parts of our soul, parts of our own inverse, teaching us how to evolve and grow. But this journey of letting go, man, it's new levels, new devils, man. Every time you hit a new level of growth, of evolution, there's a new level of attachment and something that we need to let go of. What I'm noticing is my greatest addiction has been perfectionism. To want to be 100% healed, 100% control over my humanness, be this elevated being that has 100% control. So really, in actuality, it may be control. My greatest addiction may be control to some extent. It's a paradox because on one hand, it has taught me a lot of principles and fundamentals that allow me to create a better life for me. But when it's out of hand, when I'm not aware of it, it becomes an imprisonment. It becomes this cage. But through the detoxing and preparation for each ceremony, and then not knowing what is on the other side of me taking the medicine, it's been a kind of like an exercise. There's a repetition to letting go of the attachments, things that give me comfort, safety, security, or illusions of safety, security, and comfort, and just stepping in faith. Every time I do ceremony, I'm really stepping in faith. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen, and believe me, gosh, I've had ceremonies that were some of the most blissful, enlightening moments of my entire life, and I had ceremonies that were probably some of the darkest, scariest moments of my life. Not joking. So it's quite a paradox, right? And that's life. Life is both. Life is both beautiful and scary and terrifying, and we are, as human beings, powerful beyond our imagination, yet we're so fragile to the exact same extent. It's like we are quite the paradox. But ayahuasca has been really training this courage in me. I guess it's courage, you want to call it faith or trust, but it's been tuning my nervous system to feel a little safer as I dip my toe into the unknown. And like I said, I don't say this lightly, because there's always a new circumstance and always a new plane that is always making a lot of noise. But there's always a circumstance or a person that the inverse, God, whatever you want to call it, has orchestrated for me to see where I'm not free, to see where I'm still holding on to an identity, to this story, the story of the past, the story of woundedness, the story of not feeling good enough, or the story of feeling unsafe in my body or in this world. And again, right, there is a time where there can be immediate danger, there can be real sense of unsafety or insecurity. The whole idea is to really get rid of neurotic anxiousness. There's realistic anxiety, there's unrealistic anxiety, which is the neurotic anxiety, and then there's moralistic anxiety. But I'm really trying to rid of all of that neurotic, unrealistic anxiety. And the more and more God or the universe, the U-inverse, gives me people and circumstances to reveal where I'm not free, the more I'm seeing that I am getting better at letting go. I am getting better at trusting. But ayahuasca, I feel like, has created a lot more momentum and greater capacity to have courage and let go. But still, every single time though, I still go through the moment of, wow, am I really holding on to this? Am I really thinking that this is giving me safety and security? Am I really holding on to this? But it has been a scary yet beautiful journey of developing this capacity to let go and to surrender. And what better way to practice surrendering by bringing it into your own life? We live our life clinging to comfort, and myself included. We're avoiding danger and insecurity and unsafety at all costs. But to take ayahuasca, to work with ayahuasca, it's a moment where you can actually flip the script and be like, okay, I'm gonna go into this unknown territory. Highly likely gonna show me something I don't wanna see. It's highly likely gonna be a bearer of bad news, something that I don't wanna hear, but need to hear. It's been quite a journey, and I'd say it was really worth it. And I'm not saying that everyone should do ayahuasca. No, I'm not saying that. But I am saying and just sharing how it has helped me. And that's probably one of the greatest ways it's helped me, aside from unlocking more of my soul. But I would have to say that's actually tied to us being able to hear the voice of our soul, being able to let go of that old story, that old narrative, being able to let go of that thing we're holding on to so tightly. Being able to let it go is what turns the volume up of our soul. It's what gives us better ears to hear and eyes to see with our soul. Because those overly attachments, those behaviors that we repeat over and over again, that we think is making us safe or giving us pain relief, but in actuality is causing more harm in the long run. Those are the things that are in the way of the voice of our soul. And so I will say that has been one of the greatest things that ayahuasca has really helped me with.